T. Happy Sunday evening to everybody. It is February the 5th as the year keeps rolling by. And we are here to interject some life into a rather lifeless week of. There are no games on really this weekend, but there was still a lot of chatter out there, and we're hoping to get into some of the stories throughout sports. So, first, I'll start with if this is your first time listening to us, please hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all of it, please. We appreciate it. What's going on, B? How was your
Oh,
week, man?
my weekend was good, man. Everything kind of stayed quiet until this afternoon when my phone from our wonderful ESPN app went off, and I was like, well, there it is. That didn't take too long. Um, but it was good though. It wasn't bad there. So you know,
It was either
now
that or a
time.
flag football game. So,
I see. It was one of the two.
well, so
So
so folks are wondering what B is talking about. We got some breaking news that happened pretty swiftly towards the end of the week and wrapped up today. So the Nets point guard Kyrie Irving has decided that he wanted to be traded and no longer wants to participate in the shenanigans that is the Brooklyn Nets. Uh, with him being the ringleader of those shenanigans, he wants out. Damn it! So he decided he wants to go, and within a few days, he gets his wish granted and is traded to the Dallas Mavericks of all places. Mark Cuban working hard, making money in his sleep. Uh, you know, Woke up and decided he chose violence, so he's going to take Kyrie Irving over
he
to
chose
Dallas.
beyond violence on this one.
And hope for the best. I'll start with a question for you, B. First, did you see why is he requesting a trade at this point in the juncture in the season? Is I guess is the biggest question for me.
I think hearing that news breakout, what was it? I think it was Wednesday or so, right
Yeah,
before the weekend, that he wanted out of Brooklyn. And mind you, Brooklyn, I think, is was 31-20 at the time.
yeah,
So they were playing some good basketball. And then obviously with the KD injury, all things are kind of right on Kyrie. But it kind of just took us for a shock here because when you outline everything that's happened with the Brooklyn Nets, is both of them wanted out before the season even started. That couldn't happen. And then they wanted Steve Nash out, but they got that to happen. As soon as Steve Nash was out, they started playing really good basketball. And then now you have your star point guard wanting out by the All Star break. Um, Really interesting to just hear that kind of news develop. You figured you wait till the end of the year now because you're more than halfway through the season at this point.
yeah.
So you figure something like this would have happened at the end of the year, not when the team is in a playoff spot, and in a playoff, in a very loaded East to say the least. There, you would want your best players to be a part of that, and now he's gone. So that took me for a little bit of surprise. What about you, T? What was your reaction to hearing that news?
Yeah, man. I was like, did we just time travel back to the off season? Like, I don't know what happened. It felt like the same thing was happening all over again. The
Yeah,
the Nets were they were almost in third place at one point, or second or third place in the East, when Durant was still healthy, and so it really didn't make much sense. They started playing defense. Vaughn came in and became the head coach. We started to see some great things for them. They went on a huge run and
yeah.
really put themselves and really I thought cemented themselves as one of the top Eastern teams. And so all of that, KD gets hurt, and from what I'm hearing, Kyrie decides he wants an extension or wants to try to negotiate a long term contract at that point, and at which the Nets weren't able to reach an agreement, which is the same thing that happened in the offseason. Uh, and keep in mind, we're at a trade deadline, but there's no deadline for when they needed to get a contract done. They could have waited to the off season to
Yep.
get a contract done for him. So this is an artificial deadline that Kyrie has created in his mind, I guess. And so now, based on that, he's asked for it, and I guess the Nets were just kind of like, this is the last straw, and they just very aggressively shopped him and traded him. So yeah, it was very surprising to me too because they had started playing so well. Durant's supposed to be coming back after the All Star break. They had a chance to play in. They would have been one of the upper echelon Eastern teams, and I felt like had a chance to play in the Eastern, compete at least for the Eastern Conference Finals. So yeah, very surprising, and I don't know, man. It just speaks to the fact that he's in his own bubble, man.
Well, and now how are they going to stay afloat? Because right now they're the 4 seed, so they're hosting. They have first court or home court for the first, at least for the first round of the playoffs, and they're only 5 games out of the top seed.
Right.
Like that's not a lot of games to be out of, and to demand it, to be wanting to be traded from this situation is just like it's mind blowing. Like
Yeah.
why would you want out of that there? So, you know, it, who's affected by this the most here?
Who's that?
Spencer Dinwiddie,
Oh.
because he was just with the Nets last year before they traded him to to the Mavericks, and I thought we both agreed that was a good piece
Yeah.
for the Mavericks here for kind of the long term thing. Taj, I got a question for you now with the newly ramped um, Mavs team. How do you see the Luka Kyrie combination working out? Because you're both at two small guards at the 1 and the 2.
Yeah, well, Doncic is huge. Then I guess that helps him out a little bit. He gives him size. I think it can work out. Kyrie has played next to ball dominant guys before. LeBron. He played next to Durant, obviously, and so I don't think it'll be too much different for him. So he should be able to he'll be able to acclimate to it, and they could be, depending upon how quickly they could get on the same page. I think they can be a team to really look out for. Um, I don't know what the impact will be necessarily, like how far the Mavs will go. I don't think I see this move and think in the back of my head like, oh man, that means the Mavs are the new number one seed, man. Like they're going to the finals. Like this trade doesn't feel like that. The other thing
Mm-mm.
is, um, I don't. I'm not, particularly sure if the Mavericks are going to be able to keep Kyrie after this season. I don't feel. I feel like this is more of a rental. I mean, there's a chance, obviously, but I'm not sure if just given the inconsistency of Kyrie Irving, is he really going to be the steady superstar for any ball club going forward? Honestly, the Mavs are really taking a risk, and I think that's why this deal was aggressively done because the Nets got something out of it as well. But I don't know, man. I don't know. They didn't trade a whole lot, so I'll say that. But whatever they did trade, Finney Smith Jr., who's still a pretty good player.
Yeah,
Dinwiddie's a good player, first round draft pick. And,
unprotected 2029 first
yeah,
round
and then
draft
some
pick.
second round draft picks. If he decides
Yeah,
to leave at the end of the season, which he's done to every single team that he's played for the past, 4 or 5 years, then Dallas, this may be a win a championship this year or bust type season.
yeah. Ask the Celtics about him committing to a long term
Yeah, yeah,
contract
right,
and
exactly.
then signing with the Nets right after that. But the Mavericks also received Markieff Morris, who is a good bench player at most. Not, he's beyond his career. He's always been kind of that bench player, but nothing really too
Yeah,
exciting
he's
to say
he's
the
he's the
least there.
not so
So
great the twin. There's one good one, and the good one plays for the Clippers. This is the other one. So sorry, but yeah, strange enough. And let me ask you this, Bean. So we're gonna get back to one of your they're gonna talk about how this affects one of your favorite players, and that's good old Kevin Durant, who is showing his butt. I don't know. I don't want to curse here, but he
nah, man, I'm not trying to look at that
yeah,
after I see
exactly.
what
Well,
Draymond
I
Green
guess what I'm
showed
trying to
us.
say is he was playing very, very well, and got had an injury. Will be coming back soon. What happens with the Nets now? I mean, does KD look at the team that's around him without Kyrie Irving and say, "Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go get it," or does he say, or do we go back to where we were in the offseason? And he also decides, you know what, this team ain't winning nothing. I'm out of here.
I think he stays now because now he is the vocal point of the team. He's getting what he wants, and that is obviously to be the guy on the
Mm.
team. So here it is now. Your point guard's gone. Um, More than likely, it's probably Patty Mills or Seth Curry that's going to start in that point guard position for him um, in that role. But he's got to stick with this now. You went to Brooklyn for this one reason. Now, obviously, it was to partner with Kyrie, but it was clear as daylight that Kyrie just wanted no interest in this team this year. And I think that's what's kind of got KD away from this. But now you're getting what you wanted, and that is full control of this team. And now the Nets have to build around KD for the rest of the year to push for a championship. In all honesty, I still don't see the Nets may drop in
Yeah,
the
they
standings because of
will.
this
Yeah,
trade.
most definitely.
There's not really much going for them on that roster there. So, when you look at it, you got Ben Simmons, Nick Claxton, Seth Curry, Cam Thomas, Joe Harris, Iman Sumner, who I mean,
Whoever,
that's how
whatever.
bad
Yeah,
that team
exactly.
is.
Who's that guy?
Patty Mills, T.J. Warren, Kessler Edwards, David Duke. That doesn't scream a first round
Exit.
a threat in the
Yeah.
playoffs. That's a first round
Mm-hmm.
exit, just like they got through last
Right.
year. So I don't think it's gonna work. And it's just tough because you want to root for the guy, but I mean, look, he left a good situation here.
Here we go.
I'm just
Here we
gonna say
go.
that you left a good situation in the Bay Area to continue on your legacy, and you let your ego get to the side of you, and now you don't have a point guard. You're in your 30s now for your career, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, and just to jump into the chat, Josh, thanks for joining us. KD can never win a championship by himself. So yeah, I mean, I don't. The way it's looking, the answer to that is no. Yeah, you're right. He won't.
Yep.
And I'll be curious to see what happens. I think you're right, B. Maybe he sticks it out because they've had some success, and he probably prefers the coaching that he has now versus Steve Nash. But it does call into question long term. Does a guy who's in his 30s, who's itching to win another championship, stay on board with a team that is just kind of meandering around with mediocre talent? Um, Maybe they get through this season, but I don't know how much longer they can keep him on that team. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. So you're going to go from the 4 seed to potentially, I think they drop as low as a playing tournament team now.
yeah, yeah.
In all honesty, there, I just don't see them competing with the likes of the Bucks, the Sixers, the Heat.
Celtics.
Those
Yeah,
teams that are the Celtics as well. I mean, that team just really doesn't scream it. In all
yeah.
honesty, so. Good luck, Katie. You loser. You should have stayed in the Bay,
That's
and I'm gonna
rough.
continue with that
That's rough.
until the end there. But let's talk about the domino effect of this, and that is going to
Oh,
be to your Los
oh
Angeles
God.
Lakers here,
Here we
T.
go.
So we all know that Kyrie and LeBron have a loving relationship here. It showed in
Yeah.
Cleveland. Then he leaves Cleveland. And LeBron still goes to the NBA Finals without him. But there was so much talk once Kyrie made this news here about reuniting with LeBron in LA here. Now, there was going to be a lot of pieces that needed to be moved. Obviously, some players you're gonna have to dump a whole lot. The Lakers don't have a lot of draft picks to really even give up like the Mavericks did. So T, enlighten us a little more on this domino
Yeah.
effect that now the Lakers are not getting a point guard. They're stuck with Patrick Beverly and Russell Wilson. How do you feel
Russell
about all of
Wilson.
that there?
I don't.
Russell Westbrook, close
Same
enough.
difference. Uh,
Same thing.
One can't pass, the other can't shoot. I got you. But yeah, man. So I mean, man, bottom line is the way Lakers fans are receiving this is a failed opportunity by the Lakers organization to get Kyrie for the second time because they weren't able to accomplish it in the offseason. And here they are again. It's knocking on their door and they failed miserably. They were not be able to pull off the deal. So, the Lakers were coming off of a bad loss to the Pelicans. They were winning the entire game and gave it up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That was terrible. I watched the game. It was bad. And of course, that coupled with the remarks or comments by LeBron about if Kyrie would help them and the Doug comment and all that. It really started to put some pressure and people started to feel like that maybe the Lakers were a part of it. But this
Yeah.
trade happened so quickly. And I think what people fail to realize is the Nets had to get pieces back that would keep them competitive. They are not in a position to tank. They do not own their own draft rights for the next few years because they traded that all away back in the day. Whenever they traded for the old Boston Big Three and got nothing out of it with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and that whole garbage. So they don't own a lot of their own picks. So they don't have
Yeah,
the freedom to just dunk off the season, take picks, and go shopping and rebuild their team. So people need to understand that first. The next thing is it's very simple, folks. The Lakers don't have a lot to trade. What are we going to trade in order for the salaries to match up? The person they'd have to trade is Russell Westbrook. And I don't think you don't need me to tell you that the Nets do not want Russell Westbrook. They don't want him. He's not going to help them stay competitive. He's coming off the bench on the team he's currently on. So that is a lot of why the Lakers weren't able to pull this off. They didn't have the assets. They didn't have a clear trade or clear path to Kyrie in a two just two team trade that would have sent Kyrie to the Lakers. It just wasn't there. They would have had to get a third team involved just to make it make sense. So
yeah,
I mean, so it just wasn't gonna happen, folks. And this is for all my Lakers fans. Hey, it didn't happen. It wasn't gonna happen because we're strapped because we traded for Russell Westbrook to begin with. That's the only reason we're in this to start. So there you go. As far as any other domino effects, I think they need to make a trade. I will say optics, it looks bad. I mean, it looks bad that Kyrie was available for the second time. LeBron wants him all this, and they still don't get him. They've been playing better, so they do look like they're one or two players away. So I suspect that the Lakers will make a trade at some point before the deadline. I hope
well,
so.
at this they got to. They're sitting 13th in the West at 25 and 29. But I mean, go figure. They're 4 games out from the 5 seed in the
Yep.
playoffs. In a just wild West conference standing. That's how that's how much this trade deadline means for a lot of players. Is the fact that where you guys everyone's sitting in prime position. Who knows what's going to happen with the last 2 weeks of the season, and there was the opportunity to get the point guard and just decided not to run the risk of getting the point guard there. So, it is what it is for the Laker fans, and now you're stuck with this season here on what you're going with. The NBA trade deadline thing's got 4 days left in it, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of days. There's a lot of time for things to take place for the Lakers, but it's just I think all hats were all in the basket, I should say, to get Kyrie, and now it's not happening.
Yep.
So now you try to find a way to
Yep.
pivot.
Yep.
Um,
Uh.
Real
Yeah.
quick, Josh, I am not a bandwagon Laker fan. I hate LA, and you know this. You were the one who went to a Laker playoff game back in the mid to late
Oh
2000s, so I'm not
boy.
trying to hear
Here we
that
go.
talk. You can see the shirt, you can see the hat. I'm just doing that because it's part of our show. Don't you dare call me out like
Dang
that.
man,
Um,
the man got receipts.
I know, all right? I'm like Steph Curry, man. Just hold on to them until I need to. Um, Before we talk about my team, we'll stay on the Lakers here because there's a big thing happening that no one thought would ever happen here. And that is your boy LeBron in the background, 36 points away from breaking the all-time scoring record in NBA history that is held by another Laker, by Kareem
That's
Abdul-Jabbar.
correct.
So, Taj, as a Laker fan, what does this mean to you to see this
I mean,
happen?
honestly, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that it's being done in a Laker uniform. The fact that he's breaking the record of a Laker and he is also a Laker at the time, so I think that's pretty cool. It is an opportunity to witness history, even outside of being a Laker fan. I know LeBron doesn't. He isn't always everyone's most favorite player, but this is a milestone that cannot just be tossed to the side. I mean, he's that record stayed there for quite some time, and was not had not been broached for a very long time. I mean, it was literally like John Stockton's assist, basically, where it was just
Yeah,
so far ahead that nobody would really catch it. You had Jordan who got close, but was maybe Well, actually, yeah, he the only one that got close was Karl Malone. Let's just put it that way. So that's it. Everybody else, they were at least 5, 6, 8, 10,000 points behind. So yeah, kudos to Braun, man. I think it's a big deal. You got to give him his flowers, even if you don't like him. The bottom line is he will be the scoring leader, through the highest scoring player in the entire NBA throughout NBA history. So yeah, it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be great. They'll have a little ceremony and whatever in the next game. He's gonna score 36. I'm almost willing to put money on that because they're gonna feed him the ball and say, Brian, go get it. And if Braun is motivated, we know when he's motivated, he can go get buckets whenever he wants. So, yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it, man. I think he's deserving of it. And people don't like him, but he stayed squeaky clean through most of his career. Hasn't had a lot of drama around him, unlike some other players. And hey, he's a guy. If I were to say this is the type of guy you want to be when playing in the league, he's one of the players I'll point to, and say. Now, there is some shenanigans on the court that I know folks get mad about, but as far as just an individual, I mean, you couldn't find a better
Yeah.
individual that plays the sport. So,
Yeah. And to put this in context, Kareem's time ended at 1,560 games
mm,
played. LeBron is currently at 1409.
mm,
So let's put that into context on how quickly he's doing it to for Kareem. Now, obviously, with the hype around LeBron before he even broke into the league. Now, remember, LeBron has been carrying this weight on his shoulder since high school.
yeah,
And before even coming into the league, there was a lot of hype around him, and a lot of players, But back then, when there was when you could come out of high school, a lot of players took a lot of. There was a lot of hype around a lot of players coming out of high school. Nothing like what LeBron went through. I
yeah,
think LeBron was one of the first times we watched on
a high school
ESPN
game.
in high
Yep.
school game, and gyms were being sold out now at that time, and it was unheard of. ESPN was not carrying a high school game for basketball. Football, yes. Basketball, no.
Yeah.
So for him to do this over that time span, to take the weight of the entire NBA league and put it on his shoulders, and it's gonna come down to him owning the record. I give my props to LeBron, and we can have this discussion now. Is Taj is when he breaks his record, where does that leave him as far as the discussion as all-time greatest basketball
Yeah, and
player?
I hate doing this, but I always say the same thing, which is that we have to wait till the career is done before we can really have the
Yeah.
discussion. But I think once he breaks the record, there's no question that he's the top. He's the top five. He's top five player all time easily. And
Hmm.
easily, honestly, top three, really. I mean, whenever you start breaking records like this, and you've got the hardware to back it up, and you're also top five assist, I mean, those are combinations of things that we do not see. And so I think you're gonna again raw numbers. Braun is gonna be the most impactful player. You also have to respect the fact that he played 6'9", but played mostly as a point guard, a lot of times, and so the ball was in his hand more often than not. And he was able. He's a player when he's on the floor. He acts as a point guard most of the time, where he's facilitating plays for other people. So he's a great all around player. And again, I know we got some haters out there, but that's just the truth. I mean, the guy he's good at basketball. We can't deny that, folks. So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't I don't know if that makes him better than Kareem. I don't know if that makes him better than Jordan. I don't know if that makes him better than Kobe. Everybody has their biases. And so no matter who you talk to, it's about who do they like and who do they feel. So there isn't really a great criteria to figure that out. The second guy on that list was, or the third guy on that list now, I guess, was Karl Malone, who never even won a championship. So
yeah,
how much does this really weigh? And I
yeah,
think, yeah, when it's all said and done, you're gonna have to put him up there at the top. It's gonna be a hard argument. I know our era is always gonna talk about Michael Jordan and how great Michael Jordan was throughout his career, and so that's the guy that people are gonna point to first. But I don't know. The argument can be had if he wins another championship or if he wins two more championships. Or do I mean what does that do it or what? I mean I don't know. So it remains to be
They,
seen, man.
it's going to be an interesting discussion to have. I think the big discussion between him is the comparison to Michael
And he's
Jordan
not like Jordan.
because
I don't know why. Yeah,
he's not. He's not. But I look at his career, even just now. You could take a 10-year LeBron career, and no one matches what he did in 10 years.
yeah,
From winning Olympics to we're watching him in the finals those 10 years.
yeah. It's
Um,
crazy.
and what he's doing at his age. I have this conversation a lot because you don't see NBA players at the age of 38 doing what this man
Right.
does at his position. He is playing. He is a power forward technically, also playing a point guard.
Mm,
But he doesn't shy away from contact. Now he may be dramatic with his contact, but he still takes it to the rim a lot harder than a lot of these young players
yeah,
do. So you really have to admire what we're watching in the final. I would say probably the last four careers. He's going to really try to extend it to play with his son,
yeah.
because his son will be a one and done at college, and then he'll have his chance in the pros. So you got to think wherever Bronny goes, LeBron goes as well here. So
Absolutely,
you know
absolutely.
that conversation will be had. I think he right now, once he has a scoring title, puts him in the top five conversation here. And then where he ends his career, I don't see it being another championship unless he goes to a title contending team. Um, but I don't see him honestly. I don't see him winning another championship for the rest of his career with the teams that are just built around him in
Yeah.
this time span.
Well, we'll see. We'll
So
see. I mean, it only takes a
yeah,
few players to get it. They already have AD. They just don't have many other shooting pieces. But yeah, I agree, man. I don't care who you were a fan of. 38, whoever you were a fan of, they were not playing like this. So
absolutely not.
so
Hell
it's
no.
yeah. they
Um, Real quick, Alex Arica says trade Curry. One, that's not
what?
happening. But let's
Why?
go ahead and let's. I
And
need to.
and for what? It's
Yeah, I
like,
need to know this theory behind trading Curry here. But let's go ahead and talk about the man, the team, the Golden State Warriors, who still in a playoff hunt, which is weird. We're still waiting for the Warriors of old to come out, literally,
yeah,
to start showing out. But they suffered a major setback here with Curry's injury, and he's out potentially. Well, he's out until after the All Star break, and who knows longer here. He did suffer some minor tears in that knee to knee collision in the Dallas game.
mm,
Um, I mean, it's Jordan. This is why we paid Jordan Poole 140 million.
go
It's your
get
time
him.
now.
Go get him,
Can't
young
be
man.
can't be turning the ball over. I swear to God, he should never touch the ball with 10 seconds left in any quarter, any half, whatever the case may be, because that boy
Oh
is kicking
man.
the ball around like Pele did back in his day for soccer there. So, it sucks to see this happen because Curry's having a really decent season, to say the least there. And, when the team is trying to find their stride, it always happens with an injury to take place. And unfortunately, it's our man that's getting hurt.
Yeah, it is. It is an issue for sure. But I mean, he did carry your team last year and through the playoffs, so you got to give him some wiggle room there.
Yeah.
He is an older player. He's not the same guy he was, 10, 7, 8 whatever years ago. So you,
Your
you
numbers
got
went all over the map,
yeah, I
bro.
did. Yeah, everywhere. 5 years ago. So yeah, so Curry needs some time, and he's those the injuries as players get older, they start to stack up, which is why it's such a big deal that LeBron is playing how he is at this stage in his career. So now, although Curry has had the setback, do you feel as though the Warriors should make any changes to their roster with the trade deadline coming up?
I think so. This They haven't been able to find their role players this entire season, and they're staying afloat, which is shocking to say the least because of that home record. But they're gonna have to make a trade. They've
Yeah,
got to get someone who can really, in essence, gonna have to help get buckets off the bench because when that bench unit comes in, everything just stops.
yeah, yeah,
And I honestly, um, Moses Moody has been non-existence to say the least there. There was a lot of hype going around him, and the Warriors are not afraid to let young talent go. I'm going to use Evans the third as an example.
Mm,
Um, who was I can't Pascal was a decent player when they
yeah.
first drafted him, and they got rid of him. Jordan Bell,
Oh yeah.
don't even hear about him anymore. Who was the young McCaw? Don't
That's
hear
right.
about him
Aaron
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot because of where the Warriors were at.
Cook.
So
Remember Cook?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you don't hear from him anymore as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Warriors are not going to be afraid to let talent go to bring help in to make sure that they have a championship team ready to go. I think JaMychal Green is even on the chopping block
Yeah. He's not even.
for,
He's barely.
for the
He's
Warriors.
barely cutting minutes, man.
And they need a backup center. And it was supposed to be Kevon Looney. He's now the starter. James Wiseman can't even stay on the court. He can't even finish practice
Oh my gosh.
before getting hurt as well. So I think the Warriors have trade items. What they're willing to give up to maintain basically the last 2 to 3 years run of this dynasty here, and what they want to do. Wiggins and Poole, I think, are going to be off the table because of the contracts they just gave them. But I think the only player else outside of that is, or the two players, I'll say DiVincenzo. I really like where he's coming along,
Mm.
and Jonathan Kaminga, who is looking like he's starting to get into form, and he's only 20 years old to potentially take that role that Draymond Green was once in. He's got a lot of learning to do, but that's a lot of raw talent that you just can't really see go as a Warriors fan. But everyone else, I would say,
Let him
go
go. That
to
also
that there.
includes if folks were wondering. I didn't hear anything about Draymond Green, so that is also one of those folks. Now, we got Josh in the chat with KD to GSW, and that's if to Golden State, and that's of course if he actually wants a trade after the whole Kyrie shenanigans. Is he ready to just be done with the Nets, go back to where he won his championship before, and kiss and make up? Again, we've talked about this ad nauseum before. He ain't, I don't think he's gonna tuck his tail between his legs and come crying back to you. I really don't. Um, I will say there are some interesting guys on the market. One of them being OG Ananobi, who's with the Raptors. I think is a very, very nice, long, young forward that would be very helpful to a team like the Warriors. The only thing is, I don't know what the Warriors exactly have to trade. But there are some teams looking to get rid of some folks. I know Jeremy Grant has been mentioned in some trade rumors, who is currently playing with the Blazers. I think that's what you guys need. I mean, you kind of have it in Wiggins, but you really need somebody who can just get in there and rebound and block shots. So Nerlens Noel is another one that's been brought up. So there are some small plays to be made. We'll just see if the Warriors really. I don't know if there's any motivation from the Warriors to make a move right now. Honestly, I don't know.
It doesn't feel like it, but who I would probably really want to see the Warriors go after, and he is on the Raptors, is Siakam. I
Yeah,
think he
that.
would I think he would fit
What do you?
really well
Yeah, they'd have to
into
trade a
this
lot of
unit
their
there.
young talent and some draft picks in order to get that. In order to
Oh
get
man, I
him.
heard I heard Moses Moody and James Wiseman was pretty good to get Siakam.
Really? Okay.
I would make that trade. I
I
would do
I
those
could,
two for that.
I mean, I could see that. You got to make the money line up, so I don't know how much those guys are playing right now. But if Toronto really thinks that their season's over and they want to start over and they want to, build around a younger roster or whatever, because they're already talking about, trading Fred Van Vliet. So
Yep.
they're obviously trying to push anybody that wants a big contract off of their team. I don't know if Siakam is one of those guys, but you're definitely going to have to give up some clout in order to get him. They're probably going to be looking for a contract that they can dump, as well as young talent, and then also some draft picks. So, I mean, yeah, I agree. Siakam on that team would be amazing. You need a lob threat. You need a guy, an athletic guy that could do something in the middle because the folks you have are undersized. Moody's undersized. Wiggins is undersized. What's his name? Oh my gosh, your center. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now.
Who, Looney?
McSweaty, yeah, Looney. He's not
McTired?
McLooney exactly. He doesn't have any athleticism, so he ain't doing
Yeah.
it. He's not running the floor. Let's just put it like that. And if he is, he's slipping on his own sweat. So Um,
Come on, man. Leave the man
so he,
alone, dude. He's got
hey man,
asthma.
I used to say the same thing about Shaq, and he was a Laker. Shaq was like that too, man. 5 minutes into the game at the free throw line, sweating bullets. Or 2 minutes into the game, really.
it's it,
Jeez.
it's unreal, man. But the Warriors are gonna have they have options, they have draft picks. I can see I can see things happening. In all honesty, to keep this dynasty rolling. Um, who's kind of the who's the kid from the Suns right now that is up? Who's on the block? Um,
Um, Johnson? No.
no, not Johnson. Who is it? Is it Malik Beasley? Or do I got my players wrong?
Nah, I
I
think
can't.
I
I,
think
I
I
can't
thought Malik
remember here.
Beasley played for someone else.
Yeah, but
I'll have to look it
we'll
up.
see. I won't be shocked if the Warriors make a shocking move and get rid of some of their young talent, to make sure that this core stays together. And obviously, once the season's over, is what happens with Draymond.
The Lakers trade.
Uh oh.
No, and I'm just making this up. This is just my trade machine. It's how my mind's moved. The Lakers, not the Lakers, excuse me. The Warriors trade Draymond Green.
Hmm.
They can trade, Wiseman. They could trade Moody, and they could trade draft compensation. They might even need to include another contract to do it for Zach LaVine and Vucevic from Chicago. What do you think of that?
Ooh. But where does Zach LaVine fit in this rotation?
I don't know, man. Figure it out.
I
It's
wouldn't
an
mind.
athletic wing.
I wouldn't mind Vucevic. I can't even pronounce his name, but not a lot of people can. I honestly to accompany him with Kevon Looney, I think would be. I would like that. That's a nice little trade you offered there. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe you only trade just for Vucevic, but I mean, there you go. You could also maybe if you throw in something else, maybe you get Lonzo Ball out of the deal, who hasn't played all season.
No, no,
But but
no. We're good.
another just another idea to throw out there. There are some things going on behind the curtain, so we'll find out next week who's been working diligently to get some trade done and who is not like my Lakers who probably I'm
Stand tight on
hoping
them.
I'm hoping they're gonna make that deal with Utah, but you never know. We'll see if they actually get it done.
Westbrook was linked to go to Utah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping they do. So the rumor trade is that Westbrook will be traded to Utah for Mike Conley, um, Beasley, and either and then any of one other guy. I don't know who it could. Maybe Ryan Clarkson. Maybe it's there's
Ooh,
another
you
there's
mean
another
Jordan Clarkson?
Jordan. Excuse me, Jordan Clarkson. The man that mysteriously turned into a rapper while only being in the NBA. So yeah, and yeah, so I think that's a great trade if the Lakers can pull it off to get a real point guard who can actually shoot, a veteran point guard, a nice wing who shoots 38% from the field or 38% from three, being Beasley, and then also maybe one of their young players or a guy like Clarkson who could come off the bench and fill up the bucket for you. So we'll see if they actually get it done, though, man. I'm real curious to find out. The Lakers have tons of. We got so many guards. We could trade a guard to almost every team in the league right now. We got a lot of them. So hopefully they can
let's
find a way to get that done.
let's hear it from you, chat. We want to know if you are a Laker fan, who would you give up? If you're a Warrior fan, who would you be willing to give up in return? What would you like out of those players here? So drop us your comments. Let us know. We want to hear your guys' thoughts on the NBA trade. What you got next for us, T?
All right, so now we're gonna jump into the NFL, and of course, unless you're hiding under some very very large rock, the Super Bowl is next week. So,
Woo!
that being said, my Chiefs, who I picked to win the Super Bowl, are playing against the Eagles. This is the matchup that I picked. I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm so proud of myself. Um, and so we're gonna talk a little bit about the game and just kind of open it up for the chat too to talk about who they think is gonna win this game. Very disappointing game. We already talked about for the 49ers. But they're done now and
Damn.
it's over. So we got to look forward and look at this matchup and see what we can see what we think will happen. So chat again. If you have some thoughts on who you think will win the Super Bowl, go ahead and drop it in there. If you want to even drop in why you think they'll win, that's perfect. Obviously, I'm sticking with my prediction, which is that the Chiefs will beat the Philadelphia Eagles and win their second. They'll win. They'll win their second championship in what is it, 5 years or whatever. Um, this is a very nice, a very good quarterback matchup, I think.
I think so too.
In a young up and coming Hurts versus the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes. Um, Mahomes showed some grit last week, and well, Philly just ran the score up on a wounded duck, but they got it done. I'm looking at the stats. I'm going to start off with the quarterback matchup. So I want to know what you think. Obviously, in my opinion, offensively, I think the Chiefs have an advantage, and a lot of that has to do with Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes. Stat wise, of course, Pat is ahead of Jalen Hurts. The way that they run their offense, Hurts does a lot of RPO, runs the ball a lot more, has a lot more athleticism than Pat. So I think there's some advantages for Hurts there, but offensively, I think quarterback wise, I'm picking Mahomes in the quarterback section.
I think you got to give it to Patrick Mahomes in the category, but Jalen Hurts has really shown me a lot this year, and I've been a quiet fan about his, to say the least. Just as far as what he's been able to do in in a loaded division, to say the least. There, you can't take anything away from the NFC East. That was a top heavy, or I wasn't saying a top heavy. That division was just loaded all
Tough,
around.
tough,
It
yeah,
was very tough, and they managed to get through that with I think only one loss
yeah, yeah.
in their division, and then on top of that, they ran through it. I think you're getting two young, athletic, mobile quarterbacks. You get the flashiness in Patrick Mahomes, obviously with the way he delivers the ball, the no looks, kind of been there.
Yeah, over the
But I
shoulder.
would like I would like to see what Jalen Hurts does on this stage here. Now, I talk about experience. Jalen Hurts has experience playing in national title games with Oklahoma, with Alabama, so he's been in these big time situations before. But this is a little more different. This is the Super Bowl. This is what all NFL players are looking forward to. So in my mind, I think there's no pressure on Jalen Hurts. Everything is riding on Patrick Mahomes from what we discussed last week on how this is more of a statement. This has been a statement year, like you said, for him. For Jalen Hurts, this is just a tip of the iceberg for him. So realistically, I think he's going to play with a little bit of a little more confidence, a little more looser. Um, I think his weapons. I think the Eagles' weapons match the Chiefs' weapons here. I think you give that you give the tight end position to the Chiefs here, but when you look at the wide receiving core, the Eagles win that one all day with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith here. And then where it kind of breaks off after that, Miles Sanders, I still think is better than Pacheco. Is that who it is
Yeah,
for the Chiefs? I give
I
I
don't
give
know. I like
I think,
Pacheco. I don't know. That man runs hard.
but I think the Eagles' offensive line is better on that aspect as well. We haven't even mentioned about the Kelsey brothers. You know,
Yeah, that's
in
right.
this matchup here, we've had the Harbaugh Bowl, and now this is the Kelsey Bowl, to say the least, here with the brothers here. So there's a lot of interesting things here. But from the quarterback aspect, I think obviously Patrick Mahomes is the more polished, experienced quarterback in this.
Mhm.
But don't sleep on Jalen Hurts. I there's
So, I mean, here's my issue, and this is the one thing from the game against the Niners. Although the Niners missed their quarterback, and a lot of this probably has to do with how great the 49ers defense is. I mean, Jalen didn't have that great of a game. He this wasn't a game where he really showed up and showed what he could really do. And it could have just been from the pressure that the 49ers were getting. But he's going to have to pay a lot better than he did in the last game in this game. And with a guy that is that young, there is always going to be that question of, hey, this is a big game. Are you really ready for the situation? What we saw, and this is, defensively, let's jump to defense. It's obvious that the Philly has been the better defensive team versus Kansas City all year. The Phillies had a better defensive ranking than KC has.
yeah,
However, Kansas City in the playoffs and through the tail end of the season, their defense has vastly improved and become a lot more opportunistic. they're definitely more of a bend don't break, but they've also been able to create turnovers. And I think that's where this game could be won and lost, especially if the ball is going to be in the air more often than not. Hurts just has to make sure he can protect the ball, which he's done a pretty good job with the entire season.
Hmm.
But there will be some pressure on him. I mean, we saw it against Joe Cool, who went into Kansas City and spent most of the night on his back. And that was still a close game. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
the Chiefs put a lot of pressure on him, and they really made it difficult for him. And the corners for Kansas City actually played pretty darn good considering how good Higgins and Jamar Chase are with Cincinnati. So I don't know that I don't think that them playing against the wide receivers for Philly is going to be a tougher matchup, in my opinion. I think the wide receivers for the Bengals are better, if not equal to what Philly is going to roll out there on the field. So I think this is going to be, in my opinion, a really close matchup, and I think the Chiefs defense will continue to play that the way that they have because uh, they really created a lot of good pressure around Hurts. Now I think Hurts can definitely kill some folks with his feet. We just didn't see a lot of it in the last game. I really didn't see him make a lot of plays with his legs.
I just don't. I don't think it was needed
Yeah,
once the Niners' offense really didn't go. And like I said, I think the Eagles had an easy path without the Niners having their starting
yeah,
quarterback and
yeah.
that defense spending too much time on the field. Obviously, that was a different story. The New York Giants were, you know, just high off that victory in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So the Eagles, in my eyes, I don't think the Eagles really had to do much to get to the Super Bowl.
He
In
just
all
showed up.
honest, they just showed up, and the right things happened at the worst time for them.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: when the Warriors won their first championship, oh, it's because Kyrie and Kevin Love weren't playing. Well, you still got to go out there and win that game, and the
Right.
Warriors did that. Philly still needed to go out, but the thing is it was the offense that was hurting the Niners. That defense could only do so much before it turned into a WWE match out there
Yeah.
towards the end. But the defense was on its game to say the least there. But I think the Eagles' offense just knew they didn't have to do much to win this game, besides not turn the ball over to the defense. But
Right.
even if they did that, I don't think the Niners' offense was just even capable of, of moving the ball to say the least. So I think best is going to come out this Sunday night with Jalen Hurts. Everyone is gonna be healthy to say the least there. So I think we'll see a little more of a competition, but I don't think Jalen Hurts is running from that. I think we're gonna see a side of Jalen Hurts that's yet to be seen here. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, and then we got Josh chiming in. I ain't watching. All it'll be one of the lowest rated Super Bowls.
I don't
Well,
think
well,
so.
Josh, you're gonna love this because that takes me to my next point. This is the first time that two black quarterbacks have played each other in the Super Bowl. So,
In during Black History Month as well. No, I'm not trying to make
so
fun of the
no, no, no,
situation.
no. I'm laughing at Josh because that was our next point, and he's like, I ain't watching it anyway. And I'm just picking on you, Josh, of course. But yeah. So historically, yeah, this is a very very impactful historic moment, just because the quarterback position has always been seen as the leader, and most oftentimes, especially early in the career, early in the the beginnings of football, um, that was not something that would happen. And even as we go through football and in the history of football, most quarterbacks were black were considered no mobile except for, I think, you got to go back to who am I thinking of? Warren. You got to think of guys like Warren Moon.
Randall
Well,
Cunningham.
Randall was a runner. Warren was a
So
pot.
was Warren
Well, he
Moon.
was. I know
Warren
he's
Moon
a
was a
little bit
little
more
bit
of
of
a
a
pocket
pocket.
passer. Yeah. And you think of guys like you keep going forward, then you start getting into the guys like Steve McNair and Wu Tang. Josh chiming in Wu Tang. That's not going to save you, Josh. That's not going to save you. But yeah, so no, historic moment. I think it is a big deal. It's awesome to see just the representation and the fact that we're looking at these guys as quarterbacks who are not the same, by the way, because like I said, most times you think of a black quarterback, you think of someone agile, someone that's running out of the pocket. I think we have two quarterbacks that are capable of doing both. And so
Yeah.
this really speaks to again the idea that these guys are not just black guys playing they're not just black guys, black quarterbacks. They're NFL players who are African American but are playing the position as it should be played. So they're
Yeah.
again, kudos to both of them, and I think it makes the sport interesting. We don't, I think it's great because we have to remember that there are tons of Mitchell Trubisky's and all those guys that with the big foreheads and that were drafted ahead of who was, I think, drafted ahead of Pat Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
He said big forehead.
the prototype, the Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that guy. So, it's good to see some other representation out there, and see that those guys can be successful. So, kudos to those guys, and I'm looking forward to watching them play, and looking forward to seeing some fireworks. Um,
Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of storylines. Obviously, that is one of the. I think the one that's not being talked about the most is that one. You have the Kelsey brothers,
yeah.
both on offense. One's a center, the other one is a tight end. So, um, that's going to be an interesting storyline on how the family reacts to whoever wins the Super Bowl. Um, but I think the other one that gets not talked about is Andy Reid.
Yeah, yeah.
For those who for those who don't remember, Andy Reid coached the Eagles to a Super Bowl in the Patriots,
That's right.
and then won a Super Bowl in Kansas City against the Niners, and now he is back again against his old Philly team. So there's a lot of storylines. I think this is going to be a very entertaining Super Bowl to watch. Um, Let me ask you this, Taj. We've given our predictions. We know who's going to win, but let's hear a score.
Ooh.
What would you say the score of this Super Bowl would be if you had to put one?
If I get what I want,
If you get what you want,
if I get what I want, it's gonna be. Let's see.
well, we know it's going to be the Chiefs, but what do you see the Chiefs winning at?
Yeah, let's put the Chiefs. Let's do 34-38 Chiefs.
34, so 38-34 Chiefs.
38-34 Chiefs.
38-34 Chiefs. I have it similar to that. I'm taking the Eagles, but I think that defense is gonna keep it. I think you'll see a low scoring game.
Okay,
You'll
interesting.
see fireworks, but it's not going to be as high scoring as the thing as everyone anticipates it to be. I see it as 28-24 Philadelphia Eagles with their Super Bowl here. So we, chat, would like to know what you guys think is going to be the Super Bowl score and who do you have winning the Super Bowl? All we know is Josh is not rooting for anyone, to
He
say
he
the
won't
least.
even be
But
there.
no, he
It's
won't
not
be
even
there.
gonna watch it.
Let me
Jeez,
ask you
Josh.
this.
My
Let me ask you
goodness.
this, Taj. Super Bowl parties are taking place and whatnot. What is your what would be your Super Bowl party? Like what is your go to at a Super Bowl party? Just in general.
I guess in general, it's got to be nachos, like some nice, good nachos. I want the ones with the, with the cheese that comes in the can, the nacho cheese. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, just pour it all over there. My stomach is not prepared for that, but still, it's a good time. Like the old. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want the fancy new age nachos. I want the one with the yellow plastic, the flavored yellow plastic is the cheese, the sour cream.
The Tostitos kind.
That's right, the ground beef. You know what I mean? You might sprinkle some crap on top. I don't want any olives. Don't put that crap on my
Olives don't
nachos.
belong on nachos, man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
so
You don't put olives on nachos like that.
you
Come
know,
on, man.
maybe some vegetables. Maybe.
Man, let me put it like this. One, I'm not a vegetable guy, but
I'm not a look at this guy.
let me put
The
it
one
like
human
this.
the one human on earth, folks. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a vegetable. Is there a term for that? Can anybody help us? I've heard of
Yeah,
vegetarian.
carnivore. I'm a straight
He's a straight
carnivore.
carnivore. All right.
All I'm saying is the Super Bowl party, I should not see celery sticks. I don't want to see carrots. I don't want to see ranch. I don't want to see broccoli. I just want to see chicken wings, nachos, maybe some hot links, some burgers, some French fries. But I don't want to see anything green unless it's like a mochi dessert or something like that. Um, just want to say, KP, welcome to the chat. We
What's
see
up,
you, brother.
KB?
Good to have you. Good to have you with us here. Um, I'm a chicken wing guy, man.
Oh, I love wings too, man.
I'll put it down, man. Nothing spicy. My stomach, just like you, well, in a different way. I can't handle spice.
Yeah,
So, lemon pepper, some garlic parmesan,
yeah,
so maybe mild, but it's got to be like the kind of the sweet kind mild there.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
all day, man. I love them, love them. There's nothing like So I'm a original guy. You original or boneless guy?
oh, dude, if you're getting boneless, you might as well just go to McDonald's and get chicken nuggets. I
Okay.
mean, come on, man. You don't you don't go to Wingstop for boneless chicken wings. Like that's an insult to the company there. In
Oh
fact,
man.
Wingstop should just take that off their menu. No wing place should have boneless wings. It's ridiculous. Go get fast food. Go get that dressing. Sprinkle it on there. You got your boneless wings there,
Yeah.
dude. I'm an original, but they got to be all flats. I don't like
All
drumsticks.
flats, huh? You don't
They
like
got to be all
drumsticks?
flats. It's called chicken wings, not chicken drumsticks.
Oh man,
Come
dude?
on, man.
The drumstick is like that's the best part, man. You got to have one where it's just easy eating, and that's what that one is. It just makes you feel good to have one. After tearing apart a wing, you get one drumstick. You can just in three
Yeah,
bites, in
but
two
no
bites.
one eats the entire drumstick. You got the two end pieces that mostly have um, cartilage is okay to eat.
Yeah, I'm down with the cartilage, bro. I'm
Yeah,
not
but
mad at the
not a lot of
cartilage.
people are, dude. But they're called chicken wings, not chicken drumsticks. Dude, it's got to be all flats for me, man.
Oh my
I'm all
gosh, man.
for it, dude.
So I mean, you're gonna be working on that thing, man. You eating all flats. You like doing this the whole time. I mean, you don't want
Nah,
to take a
man,
break and eat a
I got it.
drumstick.
All I say is I got a technique. I'm not going to show it because it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
look
don't want to
right
see it.
on video. There is a tech. There is a technique though where you can take one bite and
Oh,
clean
oh
it
my
off there. But I'm
god.
again, it's not really a show you want to be showing people how to eat chicken
I
wings.
know
Just
we're.
saying.
I don't think we want to see that. Chad or anybody else chime in, but I
And
don't want to
trust
see
me,
that.
I don't want to see it either.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Josh says there's going to be a tie. Sorry, man. There's
There's
no
no tie
tie
in the Super Bowl.
in the Super Bowl.
You could wear a
So
tie, but there won't be one.
remember when Mike Nolan used to wear a tie on the Niners sideline? He tried to bring back the old
Oh
fashioned.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that didn't
Yeah,
work.
go sit down.
It was a nice thing, but
Yeah,
didn't really
but
work out in
you know
his
what's funny? You know
favor.
who killed the clothing protocol for NFL coaches is freaking Belichick, man.
Well,
He
yeah,
killed
because
it.
now it requires a sports bra.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, but the cut off sleeve sweatshirt. Do you remember that? Cut off
Yeah,
sleeve sweatshirt with the hoodie. It's like, dude. I mean, we're all wondering what do you do? What are you doing? Oh boy.
technically there was no dress code for NFL coaches.
Well,
In
there
all
should be.
honesty.
There should be because some of them look stupid.
Hey, can we talk about one other thing that's really stupid?
Yeah, what's up?
When Tom Brady retired, people were selling the sand this man sat on eBay, and I don't know if it's still on eBay or not. But Taj, let me ask you this: if Kobe Bryant sat on the beach and retired, would you pay $95,000 for that? That's
Well, one, I don't have $95,000. Not to be too transparent here, but two, and if I did, no, I'm not spending it on a handful of sand. Number one, how do we know the authenticity of said sand? Did Tom Brady collect it himself and send it, or what? I mean, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They act like they getting Jesus sandals or something. Like it's not that serious. It's just Tom Brady. He's a regular guy. He sat on some sand and said he was retiring. If you're 10 years down the line, imagine trying 20 years down the line, imagine trying to explain this to your grandchildren that yeah, I've got some dirty sand that Tom Brady farted on the day that he said he retired
he
and trying to
farted.
say, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. No, it's not. No, it's not. And it's stupid. It may seem like it's valuable now, but it's not going to be valuable in the future. I
I
mean,
gotta
it's
I
just
gotta see
dumb.
if it's still on here.
Selling sand. This is ridiculous. Next thing you know, there's going to be, celebrities are just going to breathe into mason jars and sell them for $10,000 on eBay. Oh, I got some of J Lo's breath. Like, I mean, it's
Dude,
stupid.
I can't make this up. I'm on eBay right now. We don't own the rights to any of this stuff, but I'm on it. There's people authenticity guaranteed. It's got a check mark.
A
Their
check
sands
mark.
start on $4,000, $3,500,
So
$12,000,
people just went and start collecting
$25,000.
random sand from that beach and is selling it on eBay. That's how stupid this is, man. What in the hell, man?
Oh, I gotta see if
Oh
any of
my
this sold. Hold
gosh.
on, hold on. Oh, look, they got a condition: new, used, or specified.
How is it new? How
That's a good
what? How,
question.
B, talk to me. How is it new?
I don't
How
know.
is that
I'm
possible?
clicking on
Chat. How do
dude.
you get new sand? Help me out.
I can't. I can't make this up. Someone, what's today, the 5th?
Yeah.
Someone bought sand for 26. Accepted the best offer for this sand at 2,600. People are making like 2,000 dollars. Oh God!
Hey, so B,
What is
you're
going
not far from
on?
the beach. Go get you a jar. Go scoop up some sand and put it on eBay.
Dude, can you imagine people going to the beach right now just scooping up
Scooping up,
sand for
yes.
no reason?
Stupidity, man. Stupid. So is this is just like the last time he retired. Remember? And then the ball, he sold the ball. The ball sold for what was it? Some thousands of dollars. He comes back, and now the ball's probably worth nothing. What if he comes back again? How much is the
Oh,
sand worth then? $10,
no,
$5?
I don't think he's coming back. But yesterday, Tom Brady exact retirement spot, bottled sand, one of one,
One of
thirteen
one.
thousand dollars.
Oh my gosh.
People need to stop. ten
Did
thousand
he
dollars.
sign
I
it? Did he
swear to
sign
God.
the grains of
Oh my
sand? How
God.
do we know it was even from the same place?
Who knows? I
Oh
can't
my
believe this,
gosh. I can't
man.
believe somebody actually spent money on that, man. That's so stupid, man.
Hey, shout out to my mom. She's here in the chat. Hello, mother.
What's up, Mama Birdie? How you doing?
Mama Birdie. She's probably drinking her decaf coffee. You know how you feel about decaf.
Oh, I love decaf coffee. I stopped drinking caffeine about 5 years ago, man. Best thing I ever did.
I never forget when you told her drinking decaf is
I
like
know this is
drinking
what
water.
the hell.
Let's get to some other top off note topics here. Need to do something about their whole NFL players and women policy. You hear about Joe Mixon from the Bengals?
Yeah, apparently he pulled a gun on some woman for some unknown circumstance. Now, I will say that the charge, no, we don't know what the actual circumstances of the situation are, but we do know that he needs to appear in, he needs to appear because he's being charged with the, uh, I don't know what the charge is, but basically, yeah, there's an issue. We talked about this before, I think, with some other stuff, and NFL players are a little upset. I mean, I understand he lost the game. He didn't play very well against the Kansas City Chiefs.
In all
However,
honesty,
I don't see that as a reason to pull weapons on people. On women. The NFL has a domestic uh, violence problem that they need to figure out.
well,
Uh,
this just in, not a couple days ago, the misdemeanor menacing charge against the Bengals running back was dismissed on Friday.
Oh, it's
What?
dismissed. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
then forget we ever said anything. The NFL still has a problem, but it's not Joe Mixon's problem. Thank goodness. Hopefully, it was just a
Well,
misunderstanding, or he had enough money to make sure that this wasn't going to
it's
be a
not
problem.
it's not done yet though. They did say we need additional investigation before we move forward with this case. So they're probably still waiting for more information to come out. So
Yeah, well,
can't really hold it.
pay the girl off and be done with it. Okay, it was a mistake.
Hey, Charles Barkley paid off everyone he punched and threw out of a window. You
You
don't
got
hear
that
about
right.
it no more.
That's
But
right.
again, this is a
Terrible,
different subject though.
terrible.
Um, let's since we're on. Well, never mind. Let's just transition to a couple of things here. Never mind.
I know
I'm
what
not
you.
gonna say it. You know where I was going with that. So let's just change the subject here. The NBA decided to have their own fight night, back to back nights. It started with Donovan Mitchell and Dylan Brooks. So, if for those who haven't seen it, and we can't show video because we don't own any rights to anything, um, Dylan Brooks fell down, rolled over, and lifted his arm and just nut punched Donovan Mitchell, dropped him to the floor, caused Donovan Mitchell to throw the ball, which came inches from drilling Dylan Brooks in
Yeah, in
his
the
head,
head.
and
Yeah.
then threw him to the ground. I think one of the coaches from the Grizzlies tackled
Tackled.
Dylan Brooks
Yep.
right after that. Nice little skirmish there. But
Yeah, yeah.
let me, and then I got a lot to say about Memphis, and I'll keep that for another show. And then the next night, Mo Bamba decided to chirp at Austin Rivers after shooting a 3-pointer, which then led to Austin Rivers going to the bench and fighting the entire Magic team on the bench, and they were throwing punches. I think Austin Rivers hit Mo Bamba a couple times. Mo Bamba swung and missed like a lot of NBA players do, and we had some fun with this T. Obviously, fighting we
Well,
never really condone in a sport. It is an intense sport. No matter what sport you play, it does get intense.
yes.
Um, there's that competitive nature. But let me ask you this, man. Why can't NBA players fight?
They can't fight. No, man. It's not in their repertoire, man. It's just not there. And it's a lot of arm pushing, I like to call it. Where they do this. They're not
Yeah.
punching. They're kind of pushing outwards with their arms. You rarely see a guy ball up his fist and throw a punch. And kudos to Austin Rivers for trying to fight up the entire Magic team. I don't know why. I mean, I don't even know how his cross-eyed ass got a punch in, to be quite honest with you, and connected. But more power to him, man. Austin Rivers is a great journeyman player. Don't get me wrong. I respect his game and his father, but um, I'm trying to figure out how do you end up fighting with a guy that's not even in the play. And by the way, the ball was being inbounded on the other end.
Yeah.
They were in the middle of
It had
playing.
nothing
Like
to do with
how do you fight with a guy on the bench and you were supposed to be playing in the basketball game presently? So Austin Rivers just went way off the handle. He's over there not even facing the play after the inbound. He's the fight breaks out. Mario Edwards goes running across. And it was definitely a good skirmish though. Guys fell to the ground. You had a couple other guys kind of jump in and get involved. And now I'm sure both guys are going to be suspended. But a okay skirmish, we'll call it, in the Bomba Rivers fight. Now, as far as for the Mitchell Brooks thing, Donovan Mitchell had every right to just throw the ball and beam him directly in the head. I mean, I don't know what Dylan Brooks is thinking and doing. We were joking earlier. I mean, he thinks he's the fifth member of Bone Thugs and Harmony all of a sudden, and is out there trying to talk mess to every single player he comes in contact with. And it's like, look, man, it's just calm down. This is the same thing that happened against the Lakers where all the players are talking mess. Somehow Shannon Sharp gets mixed up in it, but let's forget him for a second. And you see
yeah.
LeBron verbally telling Memphis players, stop talking mess, shut up. I'm not taking it no more. And I'm sure as a Warriors fan, you also have experienced this from the Memphis Grizzlies. They have they think they're
Oh
they
my
think they're the
God.
Detroit Pistons from the 80s or something. They're the bad boys and they're just always yapping and talking and they don't have anything to show for it. They haven't won anything.
For a team that hasn't even made it to the Western Conference Finals, sure has a hell of a lot to say and do. Can I talk about some noticeable misses in fights in the
Yeah.
NBA here? Your boy Shaq has two of them. One on Todd Miller and the other one on Charles Barkley.
Oh
Lord
yeah.
knows if he connects on both of those punches
Somebody's
there.
dead.
You got Robin Lopez and Serge Ibaka when they fought in
Oh,
Orlando,
that was
and
a
they
good one. No,
it was and
that punch is connected on that one.
they were like little love taps.
I,
I wouldn't
I
say if we're
mean,
talking about punches connecting, you better connect. Serge Ibaka is a notorious swing and miss
yeah,
guy.
he
He swung and
is.
missed on who was the Warrior center? Chris blanking on his name. He's a bust too.
Who are you
Um,
talking about? I don't know, man.
uh, he was
Bus.
like I'm blanking on it. Damn it, I just had it. But NBA players need to go to a boxing class or something. If y'all are gonna fight, make this worth it, man. You just can't be you can't be swinging and missing. If you're gonna fight, fight. You're already gonna get suspended. Mo Bamba suspended for 5 games. Doc Rivers got hit with 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
NFL players are punching each other with helmets on that, like that don't make
What's the
sense. But
point of that? Yeah.
at least they're connecting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
NBA players just this is the biggest brotherhood in NBA. Like it gets talked about, but yet here we go back to back nights of forget the brotherhood. We're fighting kind of thing.
Yeah, man, and you know, and that's why I think the Austin River one is funny because he's fighting with somebody who's not even playing the game. So it's, I mean, Austin Rivers must have been out for blood. But I it's absolutely true. The fights in the NBA are atrocious. Like I said, it's a lot of arm shoving, a lot of pushing hands, not a lot of
Yeah,
horse fists, and you know, nobody's really. They the truth of the matter is they don't really want to hurt each other because hey, they're all like you said, they're all a brotherhood. They're all making the same amount of money. What's the point of me getting punched in the face, getting a black eye, and missing games? I need a paycheck. Let's not do this.
I wish
But
it would happen though. I'll wait.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
no, like a good skirmish. I mean, plus you have to remember the malice in the palace, man. I mean, the NBA cracked down on a lot of stuff after Ron Artest ran in the stands to start punching people. So there's been some. The NBA has done a good job of trying to maintain its image, so these things don't happen nearly as often as they used to.
yeah. I'll say this though: some of the clapbacks from these players that are involved in altercations over the last 2 days have been good. I'll start with Donovan Mitchell. He chimed in on it and he goes, "I'd be mad too if I was getting." I mean, he came out and said he's been busting homeboy's ass ever since he came into the league. Dylan Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Austin Rivers came out and said the only thing good about Mo Bamba is the song that was named after him. So, so instead of throwing punches, we're just taking internet jabs at each other.
I
Like,
think that's what they
come
should
on.
do instead of fighting. Honestly, they should just get into a Twitter war. I mean, isn't that what Kevin Durant's doing these days? I mean, they might as well all just join in.
That's because Kevin Durant got a burner
Got the
account,
burner
but we all know when
accounts.
it comes from Kevin Durant.
That's why they call him
Supposedly,
Easy Money Sniper because you don't see him. You don't see where he's coming from.
get it? How you gonna sit there and have a burner account, but people know who the tweets are getting that you're pulling punches from? That's not the point.
He still got caught, man. Red-handed. Didn't matter. Didn't
Oh
matter.
man, talk about
Oh man.
irony here as we get ready to wrap up on the show. We touched base on this a little bit earlier, but I don't know if any of y'all have been seeing this, but Dana White, who already open slapped his wife, after that decides to come
Oh
out with a
man.
slap fighting league. And if y'all haven't seen this, you guys need to get on the internet and
It's so
look up
stupid.
slap league.
It's so stupid.
This guy standing there. What was the movie? Was it How High? Remember when the dude's character put baby powder on his hands?
Oh, I
Just
think
goes
so. Yeah.
around slapping people.
That's what this is.
It's
It's
kind of what it
literally
is
what it
here.
is. And
These
and
dudes,
and I can't take it because the guy's just got to stand there and take it. This isn't a
yeah.
fight, folks. This is a man standing there waiting for another man to slap him.
God, it's awesome, dude. And the rules of the fight is 3 rounds. You have to keep your feet planted on inside the square. There's no flinching, although I don't know how these guys don't flinch knowing that there's a slap headed your way.
Right, right.
You can't really defend yourself with that. And some of these dudes be eating the slaps. Like, there's one guy who doesn't get knocked out. And then obviously there's another guy named Slap Jesus who just christens
Why they got to
people
bring Jesus into it?
because it's a one slap and they're out kind of thing. I don't know. It's something like that. I don't know, Taj. How do you, I mean, with this seems like it needs to be something
Yeah,
on like the
yeah.
Ocho, ESPN the Ocho.
This is the social media era garbage. This literally looks like some dumbass high school TikTok, and they turned it into a darn seriously. They turned drunk frat night into a
Oh my!
slapping contest, and there you got these 300-pound behemoths throwing throwing slaps as hard as they possibly can at another man who's just waiting to be slapped in the face and waiting for his turn to slap the other person. You know,
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
I don't.
in the words of the great Wayne Brady, is Wayne Brady gonna have to slap a bit? Oh, sorry, I don't want to say it. I don't want to get us in trouble. But still,
Yeah,
man, it's just like, why? And the folks
I
that
don't
signed
get
up
it.
for this, there must be a very good cash prize because I saw one video where the guy's face looked like it was sliding off
I think that
It
was
was
in
so
Russia or
swollen.
something, dude. Like his face was all like
It
this.
was it looked
Ah,
like
it
it
was
was
bad,
sliding off his head.
and it was bleeding too. Like he
I'm
was
like,
just
dude,
bleeding it.
where the refs at to step in and say, "You've had enough, son. Go home and get some and ice that, please."
I can't, dude. I can't get enough of it. It pops up on my TikTok all the time, and I watch the same dude get slapped like 4 times because it gets better every time.
Oh man, it's
you just see a
ridiculous,
you just
man.
see a cloud of smoke just go for a cloud of powder just go flying in the air.
I
Dude's
mean,
face just swinging back and forth.
it's ridiculous, man. I mean, what's next? The toe stubbing contest, the Lego
Man,
step contest. We're gonna have grown men stepping on Legos to see who can get the furthest. Like, I mean,
forget that. Let's
you're
have
signing
pole stepping competition.
Cole stepping competition. It's like you're signing up for pain, man. It's absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy.
I don't know how these guys do it. I don't know why they
I
want to
don't
get
know. I
involved with
don't
something
want to
like
know.
that.
They're idiots. All of them. All of them. I'm
slap,
sorry. I don't get it. I understand
slap league,
the being tough
slap league.
thing. I get it, right? But
Yeah,
to let somebody slap the crap out of you while you stand there doesn't seem like a very manly thing to do.
they
Uh,
literally slapping the smile off their face.
no, man, I seen dudes buckle, man. They like
Yeah,
dudes are getting knocked out, being slapped. Before, if you got slapped, it was a sign of disrespect. You didn't think you would die from it. You just thought it was just disrespectful. It was like, pal, I don't think enough of you to punch you. Now we got these people. These dudes is winding up like they've been studying geometry and physics for 5 years, and with a powdered head and just smacking dudes so hard that they are just crumbling. It's crazy. It's crazy. So crazy. What a world we live in.
I can't believe this is the world we live in. Who would
Oh
have thought
man.
in all the years of watching any sort of combat fighting, any sort of boxing, the sports that we love to watch, that my giggles come from slap league,
I'm telling you, there is a 70s era pimp somewhere going, damn, I
right?
could have been a slap athlete. Sorry.
As we get done talking about women in the NFL.
Now, why did you do that, man? That was almost as bad as Josh saying he wasn't gonna watch the Super Bowl, and then me saying that there was the first time in history two black quarterbacks.
We're just checking all the boxes off
Oh
tonight, man.
man!
No,
Again,
we
we're just
living up
poking
to the
fun,
show
Josh. We're
hype.
just poking fun, Josh. That's all. Oh man! All right.
But I'm Josh
Oh
says
man.
I'm Rick James. I would really love to hear someone say that when they're slapping
That
someone.
now that I will watch. That I would want. You know what they should do? I'm telling you, just gather all of the 70s, 80 eras pimps and make them compete with each other in that contest. That'd be great. I want to see
Call it player
what
haters ball.
player haters. I want to see him come in with the walk up with the music, hairspray. I want to, I want to see Vaseline on people's faces, and
Oh my
I want to see
god! Can you
white
imagine?
marks, white handprints. Because ain't no black people doing this slap rig, so you can't see the print. It's just them getting slapped.
We
But
haven't
anyway,
seen it yet. We have not seen it yet.
no, because we don't want to be slapped. That's why.
I'm not going there, man.
Yeah,
This is turning
it's
into a Saturday
extremely
Night Live skit
disrespectful
right here.
in our culture. It's extremely disrespectful. Can't
Yeah,
slap it. Can't. If a man slaps you, that's equivalent to him spitting on you. That's
you got to fight after that.
yeah.
I'm sorry, you
Everybody
got to
fighting.
fight after that.
Everybody fighting. They take offense immediately.
Oh, well, I'm glad we got to share this laugh to end this show. Here. Um,
Oh man.
so see everyone. What after the Super Bowl? After the 5 hour game that we're gonna have on our hands?
Oh yeah, baby. We're gonna be charged and ready to go to talk about the Super Bowl, the happenings of the Super Bowl, the NFL, or excuse me, the NBA trade deadline. If any more
Oh
deals
my
come up,
God!
we're gonna be all over that, and we're gonna think of some more shenanigans to throw out there to keep folks interested and
Who knows
keep us
what
laughing.
happens this week? I mean, I swear, when
Oh
you
yeah,
think it
man,
was gonna be a quiet week, it turned into something different,
man.
dude. That we didn't even touch base on. If anyone hasn't had a chance to look it up yet, Go look up an NCAA women's game and type in TCU women's basketball
Oh
fight.
yeah,
It'll change your life forever.
yeah.
Let's just
Well,
put it
there's a.
like that.
I actually looked up like three or four. There were three or four women's basketball fights. One where the girl stomped on the other girl's head, and the other one where she pulled the girl's hair in the middle of the game. And I'm just thinking, what
Yeah,
is going on? Why are they so mean to each other? I don't understand.
yeah. we just go. I'm not gonna make no comments.
Are we gonna have to bring out Joe Mixon? No, I'm just
Oh,
it's like,
stop! Stop! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, we are on another one
all
tonight. I
right.
love
Well,
it.
and I think that's where we'll stop.
Okay. Well, way to end on that note, T.
All right, bro. That's a joke, folks. It's a joke. It's just a
Yeah,
joke. Joe Mason
but
was not convicted of anything. I'm just joking. But anyway,
not yet.
well, well, I think that was that. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna wrap it up. You got anything else, B?
Nah, man. Everyone stay safe this week. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. My mom, KP,
Yeah, I got
Josh. Thanks for the entertainment today with the Wu Tangs and not
it.
watching the
Rick
Super Bowl.
James.
Rick James, that was a good one. I really liked that one there.
Yeah.
Alex Arica as well for saying trade Curry, but not defending why we need to trade Curry. So I'm pretty
KP.
sure that may have been a typing error on his behalf.
Yeah, maybe meant to he meant to say he was having curry for dinner.
Maybe, possibly, who
Yeah,
knows? But hey,
taste
man,
curry is what he was going for, not trade curry.
you have yourself a good week. Looking forward to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Everyone, tune in. We'll be one of the first sports shows out there to have a show after the Super Bowl. So we'll have a lot to talk about for you guys to come in and join us here. Hopefully, everyone's inebriated because that just makes conversations so much better.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, T. All right, man.
All right, everyone. Appreciate it again. Late.
Hey.